What up, Bengals fans, and welcome in to another live edition of Cincinnati Bengals Talk here on YouTube. Happy Tuesday to you. And it just seems to work out this way. We're Tuesday afternoons. The Bengals are off, and, well, I want to have a chat. So I pour myself a tall boy here in my hydro flask, and we get to it. So we're always going to get to your questions on these. We bill them as a Q&A, and we will do that. But I want to start with something I saw from the national media. But before I do that, a quick reminder to subscribe, to hit that bell as well, so you get the alerts when we go live each and every week. And we take a sip of, well, water here. Let's be honest. It is Tuesday afternoon, for goodness sakes. That being said, there's something I saw today. And I didn't watch it live like you are. And thank you so much for jumping in here on Cincinnati Bengals Talk and listening to us. But one thing, and watching us for that matter, but one thing that I think a lot of Bengals fans feel is the lack of love from the national media. And I'm going to give you an example as to why. Because Logan Wilson talked after the game on Sunday. I was in Detroit. Obviously, Wilson had one of the game balls because of the interception he had. He has 4 interceptions, second in the NFL. He's having a breakout season and a big part of Lou Anarumo's surging defense. And so when you look ahead to this week, which I think everybody did, probably in the fourth quarter of that Detroit game because it was so lopsided, you're already starting to think about what next week could mean in Baltimore. I believe it was Kelsey Conway of the Enquirer asked Logan Wilson about Lamar Jackson and about the Ravens offense. And I just want to play you the clip that aired on national TV today. And then I want to react to it because I am shocked that it's blown up like it has and has become what it has become. And at the same time, I'm not shocked. So here is what aired on ESPN's First Take earlier today.
The Chiefs, the Raiders. That's a resume, Stephen A. He has the legs, but does he have the arms? Here's Bengals linebacker Logan Wilson firing shots ahead of their matchup Sunday.
Please.
He's a running back that also plays quarterback, I think. He's very dynamic. You just got to contain him as best you can. We'll get more into that game plan next week.
Now, we're going to find 55, and we're going to do something to him.
Okay.
We're going to embarrass 55 out there. Logan, we're going to find him.
Okay.
But we're going to embarrass you with his arm, and we're going to target you. Well, I don't know if you're going to cover the linebacker, cover the tight end, backs out the backfield. Whatever the case is, we getting ready to find you. We ain't going to say anything. Since you think he's a running back playing quarterback, I think I would take that. I think I want my running back to do exactly what my quarterback is doing. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
Oh, man. I mean, you could find 55 all you want, Keyshawn. But the thing, and there was a whole segment about it, and there was headlines. Logan Wilson calls Lamar Jackson a running back. And look, it sounds good. And I guess technically he did say he's a running back that plays quarterback. But what he meant is the dude is so damned athletic and talented that, yeah, he's capable of being a running back and is dynamic like running back, but he plays quarterback. And that makes him tough to contain. And in fact, later that night on Sunday night, and I'm going to blur myself out, which saves your eyes. Logan Wilson responded on Twitter. This is a 1,000% a compliment to him and his skill set as a runner. No need to try to make something out of nothing. We all know he's an elite passer too. All right, so Logan Wilson calls him an elite passer. Wasn't saying he's a running back, right? It wasn't like he was calling him Joe Mixon. And that's the crazy part about this is, in whatever, bulletin board, schmulletin board material for the Ravens, it doesn't matter once the game starts. But it's crazy how it gets blown out of proportion. And so there are times where I'm like, man, fans, they really get worked up over what the national media says. Well, this is why. This is an example. Because Logan Wilson was complimenting Lamar Jackson because he is a dynamic runner and is more talented as a runner than, honestly, most running backs in the NFL. Like most. He's the best running back on his team. It doesn't mean he is a running back. It doesn't mean he isn't a great quarterback. Those that have been following me for years and years and years know that I thought the Bengals should have taken Lamar Jackson, 21st overall in the 2018 NFL draft. And oddly enough, since he started, every game he started against the Bengals, he's won. So, look, I think This is silly. I wouldn't get worked up about it, but I wanted to cover it because look at how that was covered. I didn't think anything of it when Logan said it. I was 5 feet, probably more than 5 feet due to COVID, 8, 9, 10 feet away from Logan Wilson when he made that comment. Yeah, he's a running back that plays quarterback. And I didn't think anything of it because you could tell he was talking about the challenge that comes with facing a guy like Lamar Jackson, who, by the way, has kicked Logan Wilson's ass and the rest of this Bengals defense's ass every time he's played him. So why would Logan call him out? And I don't think he was. And that's the exciting part for me this week, and we will be in Baltimore covering the game at M&T Bank Stadium here with Cincinnati Bengals talk. So stay tuned for our coverage all week and then on Sunday in Baltimore. But this is the challenge. This is the ultimate test because this defense continues to do what? Impress me. I mean, I am shocked at how good they've played this year. And there's still some flaws. Edge rusher, I talked about it earlier. Whitney Merciless, if he's available, damn it, hopefully I'm getting a notification at some point here that he's been traded to the Bengals. And then I can give you my live reaction because Whitney Merciless is a guy that this defense could certainly use. But they continue to impress me. They've exceeded my expectations. And so now going into Sunday, after slowing down Aaron Rodgers when your offense struggles, after completely stifling a Detroit Lions team to the point, and I get it, it's a bad team, it's a bad offense, Jared Goff isn't a good quarterback. At the same time, it was 7-0, and it felt like a blowout in the first half. That's a testament to how good this defense is playing right now. And so the fact that they've consistently done it, well, now we're going to see against kind of their, I don't want to say their kryptonite because the Bengals defense hasn't been good in recent seasons, but the guy that's really just shredded them time and time again. And I get it. You look back to week 5 last year and Lamar Jackson didn't put up huge numbers. I think he was injured in that game more than anything. So this is the test for Lou Anarumo, for Logan Wilson, for the interior of that Bengals defensive line that has been so disruptive and so dominant thus far, for them to show what they can do. And so, yeah, Keyshawn, go after 55. In fact, if you're the Bengals, you want to see that. You want to see Logan Wilson get tested, and you want to see the secondary get tested a little bit when it comes to especially containing Lamar Jackson. I think they can stay with Rashad Bateman and Marquise Hollywood Brown and, the Ravens receivers. They've played much tougher receivers so far this year, but you never face another Lamar Jackson. And I asked Von Bell about it, and there's let's see, was there a clip? Yeah, I posted the clip on one of our videos yesterday on Monday. And basically it was like, how do you prepare for a guy like Lamar? Is it possible to do? Because it's not like there's someone on scout team that can do what Lamar can do and simulate that. And he says, well, you got to film and pay attention to your keys. And that's the part of it. This Bengals defense has been so damn disciplined this year in a good way. And it's led to their success. And I think it's going to get tested on Sunday. And it's a really, really good test. And heck, for 9 minutes now, we focused on the defense. Later this week, we can get into the offense and how they're going to be tested against this Ravens defense and their blitzes and their pressures. But we don't spend enough time, I don't think, it's my fault, on the defense that has been just so good through 6 weeks. And is the biggest reason why they're 4-2. As good as Joe Burrow is and as good as Jamar Chase has been, and they're fun to talk about, I get it. I'm the one who's talking about them each and every day, it seems like. This defense has been so clutch when they've needed them and gotten big stop after big stop or set the tone early in games. And so I wanted to start there with the national nonsense that aired this morning, my reaction to it and how big of a test it is this Sunday in Baltimore as the Bengals, they're playing for first place, which is a fun place to be in week 7 of the NFL season. All right, let's get to your questions. If you're familiar with the channel, we do this each and every week. If you're new, get your questions in, and we will try to zoom through them and get to as many as possible here. All right, let's see. All right, my video editor says we got a lot of commentary, so that's fine because there's plenty of topics I can cover. But now's the time to get your questions in if you want to get them in. But Another thing I want to hit on a little bit more, and I could talk about it for a second. Whitney Merciless makes a ton of sense for this defense. I get it, Khalid Kareem's coming back. Hopefully he's active this week. You got a guy in Trey Flowers that's going to hopefully bolster your secondary. But man, oh man, can you imagine another edge rusher, another guy opposite Trey Hendrickson who has 5.5 sacks, 11 quarterback hits, has been everything the Bengals hoped he would be thus far. Another edge presence, right? Like if Joseph Osai was healthy, I wouldn't necessarily be saying it, but he's not. And there's no one else really walking through that door that I think you can bank on consistently. Going forward, if you could get a guy like Whitney Merciless, I think it would change things for sure. All right, let's get to some of your questions. And first, this isn't a question, but I'm just going to give it a shout out. Logan Wilson is a whole beast. He is. He's been playing great. So he'll be tested a lot on Sunday. This defense is safe but when the offense has started out slow, yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, the offense can't start out slow on Sunday. That's a big part of it. They have to be consistent and help the defense out. Because if the defense is on the field and on the field and on the field, it's going to be hard for them to hold up. All right, so first question here comes from Jason. Can you admit Eli Apple is balling? Dude has played well. I mean, I'm not against Eli Apple, so I don't know why you put it like that. Maybe you didn't mean to do it. But yeah, Eli Apple has been playing well. He's certainly better than he was early in the season. I think back to, obviously the couple penalties in week 1 against the Vikings, but then week 2, when he just turns around and shoves, I think it was Marquise Goodwin against the Bears, like 30 yards downfield. Well, like 8-year-olds in Pee Wee football, no, you can't do that at cornerback. And yet Eli did it. But as the weeks have gone on, he's been able to get more comfortable. I think his confidence is growing, and he is playing better. Now, if I'm an opposing defense, do I go after him anyways? Absolutely. If I'm the Ravens, to try to get Eli Apple on Hollywood Brown this week and say, all right, Hollywood, run by him. I'm going to throw it deep. And, maybe that'll happen, and we'll see. And that's also why the Bengals have Jesse Bates. So we'll see there. Speaking of Jesse Bates, how about this for timing? How realistic is it that a Jesse Bates deal is done before the season ends? I don't think it's realistic. I don't think that the Bengals are focused in on that right now. I think right now they're probably more focused on what pieces, i.e. Whitney Merciless, they could add before the trade deadline to make them better, to make this run. Because again, Bates almost needs to flinch before the Bengals. The Bengals have the franchise tag. And I get it, wanting to pay Bates. He's 24 years old. He's a part of your future, you would imagine. And he's a damn good football player. And so, yeah, he hasn't had some of the huge splash plays, but he had that 0 blitz on Sunday that was awesome on 3rd down that got the Bengals off the field against Jared Goff and the Lions. So, no, he certainly makes an impact. In Sunday against the Ravens, that's why you have a guy like Jesse Bates. You need him to get an interception. You need him to make a big tackle, a forced fumble, something like that. But unfortunately, I don't see it. I don't think the Bengals are going to blink here because they have the franchise tag in their back pocket. They can always negotiate after the season. And unless Jesse Bates were to lower his price, I think that it's going to be exactly what it is now, which is him playing on the final year of his rookie deal. Thoughts on if and how much Zach Taylor has improved? I'm not completely convinced by him. Yeah, I think we're going to see more of this on Sunday and get more of our answer. Because to me, Auden, it feels like this team this offense. Let's talk about the offense, because I think the defense, I've spent a lot of time praising them and well-deserved praise. This offense right now is being bailed out by Ja'Marr Chase. He's been so damn good that when they get into a tough spot, i.e. we're only up 7 on the Lions and it's our final possession before halftime and we've gained 32 net yards on our our last 4 drives after going downfield and scoring on our opening drive. Oh, let's just throw it up to number 1. And, Burrow and Chase, they have such a good chemistry. It's worked. I don't think that can be the plan. Not that it is the plan, or it can be expected on Sunday against the Ravens. Because 1, they have Marlon Humphrey, and he's one of the best cornerbacks in the league. 2, I don't think Baltimore is going to let number 1 beat them. The Lions tried to prevent Chase from beating them. The Ravens are good enough to stop Chase. and make someone else beat them. And that's what you're getting to the point of here with how well Ja'Marr is playing. I mean, he had a 34-yard catch, a 53-yard catch. You give up big explosive plays like that, and it just completely changes the game. And I'm not saying he's not going to have those plays this week, but yeah, as far as Zach Taylor's concerned, he needs to show that he can get this offense to consistently move the ball, sustain drives, not have these ebbs and flows where there's just these long lulls on offense. Because and it wasn't all his fault last week by any stretch. Trey Hill, those penalties completely killed the Bengals' momentum. But even with those penalties, this offense should be good enough, especially against a team like the Lions, maybe not the Ravens, but against a team like the Lions. It's 2nd and 25. Shouldn't matter that much. That offense should be good enough to where it's like, okay, much like the Chiefs. If the Bengals had the Chiefs in 2nd and 25, would anybody be comfortable? Or the Bills in 2nd and 25, would anybody be comfortable? Heck, you could throw the Packers out there. I guess you could throw the Ravens out there with the way Lamar's playing. The Cardinals, like you wouldn't. And the Bengals can have that type of offense where it's that explosive and that good and that threatening and that scary. So he, I think, has improved, and the talent he's obviously coaching has improved. But as far as an offensive play caller and his scheme and everything coming together and fitting and maximizing the potential of not only Burrow, but this entire offense, I don't think we've seen that yet. And Sunday is a damn good opportunity for him to open up more of the playbook or show that he can get this offense to play a complete game, because they're going to have to if they're going to go to Baltimore and win. Yeah, so Eli says, hey, James, what's your prediction on the Cincinnati Bengals now that they're winning? Well, I'll give you my prediction each and every week. Usually we post them on Friday here on Cincinnati Bengals Talk. They're 3-3 right, or I'm 3-3 right now, rather, with my predictions. And oddly enough, after 6 games, I had the Bengals at 3-3 coming into the year. Obviously, they're a game ahead of where I had them at 4-2. So I had them finishing 7-10. So you could do the math there. That being said, I haven't stuck with what I said back in early September before the season started. So can they win more than 7? Absolutely. If they're going to, let's tie it back to the offense. The offense has to get going. It has to pick up. It has to match the defense. Because as the year goes on, and this is another reason why you want to get another edge rusher, another disruptor on this defensive line, there's going to be some attrition. There's going to be some injuries. There's going to be some unfortunate things that happen. You need some depth. And right now, outside of Trey Hendrickson, they have no one on the edge that is going to get consistent pressure. Nobody. Sam Hubbard is second on the edge as far as sacks go with 1.5. That's not good enough. You need more production. And that doesn't mean Hubbard isn't going to give you more, or Khalid Kareem isn't going to help. But you're going to have to find someone else there. And the other thing that helps that, obviously, is the offense scoring more, making teams throw it, drop back farther, push the ball down the field. And then obviously your pass rush can get there as well. All right, let's see here. Let's keep going. As we keep, how is Jackson Carman? And this is from Josh Brewer. Carmen's doing okay. So yeah, he got sick on his mom's spaghetti. That was kind of funny, right? And I thought he played well last week. And so hopefully whatever illness it was, whether it was food poisoning, obviously he was on the COVID-19 reserve list last week after testing positive, had multiple negative tests outside of a 24-hour span, was negative, still testing negative. So that's good. But you want him to be 100% this week against Baltimore, because teams are going to test the interior of this offensive line. That doesn't mean they don't think they can beat the tackles, but when you look at it, right, from left to right, Jonah Williams, Quentin Spain, Trey Hopkins, Jackson Carman, Riley Reif. Well, where's the weakness? Trey Hopkins coming off of an ACL last time the Bengals played the Ravens in the season finale last year. That's when he tore it in January. And then, Jackson Carman, a rookie who's had an up and down start to his career. So he's okay, I think. I would expect him to start this week. We'll know more tomorrow when practice begins, but I think he'll be okay. Interesting. Are the Ratbirds going to shut Jamar Chase down so Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins can show out. The Bengals actually tried to go to T a lot early in that game on Sunday. They tried to get him going, and I think he only had one catch early, but they tried, and it didn't work. There was pressure in Burrow's face one time. He didn't feel comfortable with the downfield throw. I'm envisioning the all-22 in my head here. T ran. It was like a go on the far side, on the right side, Burrow's right. And there was a safety that was just hovering around, and I don't think Burrow felt comfortable. It was the high pass to Chase where it almost got picked. It looked like the cornerback was going to pick it. So they try to get T more involved. So I think so. And I think this is a Tyler Boyd game just in general, like this rugged black and blue AFC North division where you're expecting it to be this physical grind, 3rd and 4, Joe Burrow and the Bengals needed. Who are they going to go to? Tyler Boyd. And, the Green Bay Packers doubled him. Last week, the offense was just kind of weird. It doesn't really matter what the Lions did. It shouldn't have mattered at least what the Lions did on defense. The Bengals should have been able to do whatever they wanted. And he just hasn't been as involved as I think most would expect. So we'll see this week if that'll change. I certainly think Boyd and Higgins are both going to have big days, a lot of big games this year. It's not going to just be the Jamar Chase show and that's it. And I think that was part of what we saw last week. Link asks, why do the Bengals only play 30 minutes of the game? They do bad in the first half, throw a spectacular catch to Chase, and then they play spectacular football. Look, it's inconsistent. And they can't be inconsistent if they expect to handle business against a team like the Ravens. And that's why this is such a great test. Because Jamar Chase, as great as he is, isn't going to be able to single-handedly just carry you past the Ravens. I mean, maybe he has 255 yards and goes A.J. Green nuclear at M&T Bank Stadium, as we know A.J. Green did many, many times during the Bengals-Ravens duels. But you can't bank on that. And you're going to need someone else to step up on offense. And you're going to need this offense to just be more consistent. One, because it keeps Lamar Jackson off the field. And it's going to give that defense rest because there's going to be some sustained drives from this Ravens offense. There's going to be times where they have a 15-play drive where they run it 12 times and they score a touchdown. Like, that stuff is going to happen. Like, you could contain Lamar Jackson, and much like Aaron Rodgers a couple weeks ago, you could look up and the scoreboard could say 30-plus. He's that good. And it's a different style than anybody's used to. It's hard to adjust to, I think. I think it's hard to prepare for. So part of it is this offense sustaining drives. And, you're right, Link. They cannot play just 30 minutes on offense. I'm going to get to Auden Tate in a second. I guess there's a lot of Auden Tate questions. Frank says, James, I thought I heard that Whitney Merciless had been released. They plan on releasing him. And in fact, let's see here. Hold on. Let me just check my phone here. This is the beauty of live messages. Nothing yet. So hasn't officially been released. The Texans planned on releasing him. Haven't seen the official word, which means that they could potentially trade him. And if they do trade him before he was released, much like Stephon Gilmore a few weeks ago, then, maybe they get a pick back. And that's where, if I'm the Bengals, I do it because it's going to cost them about $3 million for the rest of the year to have Merciless on the roster. And that's worth it for an edge rusher that could be productive right away. I mean, he could play Sunday. If they traded for him, he could potentially impact Sunday's game against the Ravens. If not, and he gets released, try to sign him. It's just you're going to have to compete with teams like the Cardinals, probably Tampa Bay, teams like that are, maybe even Baltimore. Teams that are legitimate contenders, that are viewed as legitimate contenders by everybody that want to bolster their pass rush. All right, so here, this is an Auden Tate one, and not just Auden Tate, this is a Drew Sample one. Why is Drew Sample getting more targets than Auden Tate? Okay, look, it's tough. One, I don't know about the Sample thing. I don't know why. He's had a bad year, and you've seen his snaps slowly decrease. And when they did try to get him involved in the mix against Green Bay, it didn't go well. As far as Auden Tate goes, I get it. I understand it. People want to see more Auden Tate, and I think he can contribute. But there's only so many times the Bengals are going to have 4 receivers on the field. Like when they go empty, it's usually 3 receivers, running back, and a tight end. And that's not always the case, but a lot of times. Uzama's out there, right? The jailbreak screen against the Jaguars is one of the most notable plays this year in empty. Obviously, when they go empty, they're going to split Mixon out, or they'll split Chris Evans out. And so Tate just isn't getting a ton of run right now. And he did line up at tight end a couple of times on Sunday against the Lions, including on the touchdown. I think that you could see him do a little bit more of that, and he could contribute in that way. But barring injury, which obviously no one wants to see, I don't think Auden Tate is going to be a big contributor on this team this year because of all the weapons. I mean, we're asking why Tyler Boyd only has 1 reception. His targets and receptions need to go up before we get into Auden Tate. And the same thing goes for T. Higgins, who kind of looks like he's in a little bit of a funk right now. We'll see if he can get out of it this week against the Ravens. I guess there's a question about Auden Tate being a trade piece. Maybe, but I think Bengals fans because obviously you like him, but value Auden Tate more than the rest of the NFL. Like if you're, let's say the Lions, how much are you giving up for Auden Tate? Your season's going nowhere. You have no receivers. You want to get something for, another weapon for Jared Goff. Okay. Are you giving up a 7, a 6? And if you're the Bengals, is it worth that, knowing that, yeah, he's probably going to sign elsewhere in free agency? Or is it worth holding on to him just in case there is an injury and something happens while you're in the playoff hunt, while the game's on the line and you're playing the Chiefs at home with the playoffs on the line, and Jamar Chase is shaken up or T. Higgins is shaken up, and you can bring in number 19 off the bench and you know what you're going to get with him. So that's the other part of it to take into consideration is whatever you're going to get for him, if it's a late round pick, is it worth what you're getting in return? Now, if you're talking about trading Auden Tate for Whitney Merciless straight up, Whitney Merciless is going to give you production right away. And I just don't know why. Would Houston really do that? Maybe. I guess maybe. So I'd be willing to do something like that. Sample needs to be thrown on the practice squad, and Thaddeus Moss needs to be brought up. Unfortunately, William, Thaddeus Moss still on injured reserve. Hasn't been able to get cleared yet. He's dealing with an injury. And he's doing a lot of work on the rehab field, but that's not an option at this moment. All right, let's see here. This is something we led with. So if you missed the opening comments about this, make sure you go back and watch them. But LeVar asks, do you think the media is trying to give the advantage to the Ravens by reporting Logan's comments out of context? No, I don't think so. I don't think it has anything to do with giving the Ravens an advantage. I think it's a hot topic because even though Logan wasn't calling Lamar Jackson a running back, right, and trying to insult him in that way, he was simply complimenting that he's that dynamic is dynamic as most of the running backs in the league, while also being a great quarterback. While he was doing that, there are a lot of people that think that Lamar Jackson is more of a running back, right? And there are a lot of people that think and doubt Lamar Jackson. There are a lot of Bengals fans that doubt Lamar Jackson. I've had people still message me from way back, remembering my opinion about Lamar way back pre-draft about how the Bengals should take him 21st overall, and say, see, man, I told you, whether it's after a playoff game or week 1, I think he struggled or whatever. It was the Ravens' lone loss this year. I think it was week 1. And it was like, oh, see, I told you, he's just not. No, he is. Lamar Jackson's legit, man. And he's given Lou Anarumo and the rest of his Bengals defense headaches and they're staying up extra late to try to prepare for him this week. But no, I don't think the media is doing that. I think it's a storyline that they can use because there are people that do feel that way. Should the Bengals try to trade for Jason Kelce or another center before the deadline? Eagles have a lot of picks and could be in a rebuild. 33-year-old center doesn't fit a rebuild for them, in my opinion. Look, I'm never going to argue with the Kelce joining the Cincinnati Bengals or coming back to Cincinnati. Never going to do it. As a Bearcat, I get it, right? You want to tell me Travis Kelce at 38 is going to play for the Bengals. I'll tell you, sign me up, right? So Jason, could they go after him? Maybe. And, this is me just speaking on, on the fly here without looking at his contract. Are the Eagles willing to do that and acknowledge, yeah, we're rebuilding, and acknowledge that? And I don't know how Kelsey's played this year specifically. I know they're kind of a mess right now in Philadelphia. So, yeah, I would be open to it, but there's so many factors that I would have to look at before I said, oh, yeah, the Bengals should target, Jason Kelsey, from his play to, what his contract is, what the guarantees, all of that stuff. And then you're talking about compensation and everything like that. But, yeah, of course, the Bengals should be interested in anyone that can help them, especially at their biggest weaknesses. So interior offensive line, edge rusher. Those are the two. Can they find them? Whether it's an outside linebacker that you're going to put on the edge and just say, hey, hit the opposing quarterback. Whether it's a guard or a center, or maybe a guy who could play both. And, it's even their tackle depth. If they could add an offensive tackle that isn't going to necessarily start, right? But someone who maybe a veteran that has starting experience that they're like, okay, this person can help us and give us, another experienced tackle in the room. They should be all for it, and they should be exploring it. And they need to be aggressive because they've been lucky so far, knock on wood, with injuries this year. And the reason I say that, you look up in Cleveland at all the injuries in that injury report. And so you can't bank on that. You need to be as deep as you can at all these important positions. So, yeah, Jason Kelsey, on the surface, I would certainly be open to it. This is a good one. How about Quentin Spain having 3 games with his highest Pro Football Focus score? Does he get a multi-year deal? Travis, I think so. I think the way he's playing, if he continues to play this way, you're talking about him playing well for an offensive line coach that's certainly returning, a head coach that, if they continue to play like they are, is coming back, an offense that's, is what it is. The front office is going to be intact. The Bengals are going to have a lot of cap space. Yeah, I think he'll get I would say 2 to 3 year deal, maybe a 3-year deal where the first 2 years have more guarantees. The third year doesn't have much, if any. And so, yeah, that's where he's trending. Now, that being said, Travis, it's only I was going to say halfway through the year, but we're not even there yet. 6 games into the year. So, we got 2.5 games more until we get to midway through the year. So he's got to stay healthy. He's got to keep playing the way he is. But yeah, if he keeps doing that, that's a step in the right direction. And that doesn't mean you can't draft someone to learn behind him either. But yeah, I agree that could happen. What about Trey Flowers? I think Trey Flowers is going to be active this week. I think Trey Flowers is an interesting piece that you could see relieve Eli Apple of some of his snaps on defense at times, especially because he's a big 6'3", 200-plus pound cornerback that can hit, that can tackle. Is Chase the team MVP over Burrow, from Jason? No. In fact, I don't know if either one is. I think right now Chase is the MVP of the offense. He makes them go, man. But no, I think the MVP, it's got to be someone on defense. So whether you want to say it's DJ Reader, Chidobe Awuzie, or Logan Wilson right now, it's got to be someone on defense through 6 weeks. That being said, of course, quarterback is the most important position. So that's part of it too. This is a good one. Howard Danceless is going for Jake. Will he be ready to go come Sunday? Hey, we'll see. Because what I said on Locked On Bengals, which you should subscribe to, if Jamar Chase tops 100 yards and is dominant again, and the Bengals win, everyone knows I dance at the beginning of episodes anyway. Jake and I are both going to hit the gritty. We're going to hit the gritty. We're going to do it. We're going to get it done. And I hope Jake is ready, because if he's not, it's going to look he's going to look kind of silly. That's for sure. All right. Michael asks, why not put Von Bell and make him shadow Lamar Jackson? It's a good thought. And I think he will do some of that. And in tying this together, Michael, I think that we're going to see some 3 safety looks where you get Ricardo Allen in there as well. And so he can help in coverage. And then you can have Von Bell around the line of scrimmage and putting pressure on Jackson and delivering big hits to Latavius Murray. And speaking of Bells, Le'Veon Bell, who was activated to the Ravens 53-man roster permanently today. He's been on the practice squad all season long. So, yeah, I absolutely think that there will be some of that. Akeem Davis-Gaither is another guy that I think they could use on him, and they're going to have to. You're going to have to put a spy on him. You're going to have to blitz him. You're going to have to do things to make him confused or uncomfortable. And even then, even when he gets beat mentally, he's so physically gifted that he could still beat you. So it's a tough challenge this week for sure. All right. Oh, Kimberly's one of my favorites. She's a loyal watcher here on Cincinnati Bengals Talk. So make sure you say hi to Kimberly. She says, hello all. Who day? All right, let's see here. Watch out for Joe Burrow. Really? Watch out, Joe Burrow. Our defense will be after you, 45-10 Ravens. No chance. I don't think there's – see, I don't see that this time. I don't think it's going to be this complete route blowout or anything like that. I just don't. Now, I get it. The Ravens have had the Bengals number. And if I thought that, by the way, I would say it. I'm not afraid. I ask Bengals fans. I've predicted plenty of L's for the Bengals and taken my fair share of hate, even though we are up to 3-3 on my predictions this year. But that is where we're at right now. All right, let's see here. Let's keep it going with. Yeah, you guys are talking a lot of trash in here, huh? Man, a lot of Ravens. I like this. After this season, let's focus on our line since that's our weakness. Yeah, look, it's going to be both lines that are the focus because the defensive line has a lot of one-year guys on it. So, yeah, you could sign those guys, but no, there's going to be a lot of moving pieces after this year, which is why they need to go after as many pieces as they can this year to try to take advantage of it. Kenneth says, Bengals have undervalued Auden Tate in the offense. You think we can get a 5th or 6th rounder for him? He needs to shine, and we haven't given him the chance. It's maddening. To a degree. Let me ask you guys this. And by guys, men, women, let me ask you this. Do you really think Auden Tate's like a star? Like, allow him to shine? What the hell does that mean? Shine? Auden Tate, if he just never played another down after this season, never played another down, right? Let's just say, he decides to retire. He decides to join us at Cincinnati Bengals Talk, in which he's more than welcome to do, and analyze football for a living. He's already exceeded expectations for a 7th-round pick. He's already blown past it when you look at his testing and everything that went into the draft process. So, undervalued Auden Tate, okay. Well, who are you playing him over? Because Jamar Chase is one of the best receivers in the league right now. Tyler Boyd's the best slot, or one of them. And C. Higgins is really, really good, and a lot of people thought he was the number 1 on this team 6 weeks ago. What are we doing? And there are some that say, all right, we'll play him at tight end. And I get that and understand it, but the problem is the advantage to playing a receiver at tight end are these inline guys, right? The Zach Ertzes of the world is because they can block like tight ends. Auden Tate is big, he's strong, but he's not tight end strong. He can't block like a tight end. And so that's the difference between being 225 and 250. And that's a big part of it. Someone mentioning Thaddeus Moss, and he's injured. He's on injured reserve right now. Would you say, Andrew? The Ravens could use receivers. Okay. You want to do an interdivisional trade? I thought that the Bengals, and I joked, I forget with what media member I joked with. I said, hey, that they should just leave Auden Tate in Detroit. And, he can at least, get targeted there the way Bengals fans think he should be targeted. And look, could he be used more? Yes. But it's a bit much, right? To expect him to be this, crazy, awesome receiver. That is not the one I was trying to click. All right. So anyways, let's see here. I think in baseball terms, we should be buyers, not sellers at the deadline, says the Orange Arrow. What up, man? Yeah, I agree with that. I agree. Buyers, not sellers. No doubt about it. But we'll see. We'll see what they do. It's hard to be buyers. And there aren't a lot of teams with cap space, so that actually favors the Bengals. Edward says never trade with the Ravens. Yeah, they're not going to. All right, they're not really sending Auden Tate. Just got to make sure that there was no Whitney Merciless news. They're definitely not going to send Auden Tate to the Ravens, but it was a question, so I figured I would mention it. All right. Here, how about Darius Hodge as an edge to stop Lamar Jackson? Whew. Well, he's been active in recent weeks. I think it's more likely that, again, they put a spy on him and Khalid Kareem comes back and is the guy that ultimately gets some run here at defensive end. We'll see. They activated his window to practice last week, and obviously he wasn't activated to the 53-man roster for the Lions game. Maybe it'll be this week, but I don't think that that's going to happen. Let's see here. Michael Johnson. How about this? This is a Ravens fan. Says, I'm scared of the Bengals. The Bengals are better than the Chiefs. We beat no one. Lamar hasn't won a game. I wonder if that's really a Ravens fan or if he's just saying that. Either way. This is a key. And not because, Ronnie Stanley was playing a bunch, but he's out for the year. Trey Hendrickson, it's not about to. He needs to have a big game. He needs to be disruptive. He needs to have multiple tackles for loss and, multiple pressures and quarterback hits, and you hope a couple sacks because they don't have a lot of edge depth right now. And so you got to find a way to get pressure on a guy like Lamar Jackson. I just don't think Auden Tate is a star, period. Not on this team or any team. It's not mean, right? I don't think CJ Uzama is a star. He's a contributor. I don't think Chris Evans is a star. He's a contributor, and he's a good one, and he's got a really, really good skill set. And Tate has a good skill set. He's a great contested catch artist. That's what I would call him. Willing blocker, great contested catch artist. And I get wanting to see him get more snaps, but it's not like he's going to get 50 snaps a week or 30 snaps a week. It's just not. It's not in line with the receivers that they have. Let's see here. Man, there's a lot of trash talk going on. Football is not like baseball. There are never tons of moves around the trade deadline in the NFL. Football isn't plug and play like baseball. That doesn't mean that there can't be a move or two. I hate this logic. And I'm going to, because this is like, who is this? Is this someone from the Bengals front office? Is this? Because damn it, there is a move that can be made that can help your team. The Bengals are not perfect. They are flawed. And if you throw a 5th or a 6th round pick at one of these teams for insert whoever that can make your team better, you should do it. And it happens all the time. Like the Zach Ertz deal. Arizona is undefeated. And they just added a Pro Bowl tight end. A tight end that definitely has some juice left. And they did it because they had an injury. So who knows? Hopefully the Bengals don't have an injury that opens them up and forces them to make a deal. But if you are 5-3 at the deadline, which means if you lose to the Ravens and then beat the Jets, if you're just 5-3, deadline's November 2nd, you should probably make a move. Because depending on what the tiebreakers are, 9-8 might get you to the playoffs in the AFC. That 7th seed looks a little up in the air, to say the least. And 10-7 probably is getting you in. So just something to chew on there. Yeah, they should absolutely be aggressive, even if it is hard to do. A lot of things are hard to do, including win. Does Wilson have the lateral change of direction to follow Lamar? No. But no one does, honestly. Like, I don't know of anyone that can one-on-one man up. I'm going to follow Lamar and stay on him. Like, now, can you have someone shadow him and make Lamar change direction and force him angles-wise to go where you want him to go so you can hopefully have your teammates and you make a play? Absolutely. And Logan and the rest of this Bengals defense is going to have to do that if they're going to slow him down. It isn't just one guy that can do it. It's just unrealistic to expect it to be that way. Let's see here. So no, Joe Burrow isn't in COVID protocol. Neither is Joe Mixon. I don't know who mentioned that. I just saw some. Oh, it was a spam. Okay, I just figured I would answer, so we didn't have any confusion there. Anyway, should Chris Evans be RB2 from now on? Yes, 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 yes. Look, he's extremely talented. I don't know how the hell he fell to the 6th round. Outside of Jim Harbaugh, didn't know how to use his players. This dude looks like a 2nd or 3rd round pick to me. He's big, he's strong, he can run well, he catches like a receiver, he can track the ball like a receiver. He's a great route runner, great hands, looks smooth in his routes and in and out of his cuts, and has really showed up on special teams, had multiple big special teams plays the other day. And the other thing, as a pass blocker, multiple times with the right read and quality pass blocking reps. So I think he should. I do. I think that he's a great, great RB2. And that doesn't mean Samaje Perine that there isn't a place for him. Absolutely there is on this team. And he could still contribute on special teams and be there. But to me, Chris Evans is just, he was a 6th rounder because Michigan didn't use him right. And there was a lot of crap that went on in college. He's a better pro than he was a college player. And we're seeing it already with how the Bengals are using him. And we saw it on Sunday in Detroit. Do you really think in reality the Bengals will go after Whitney Merciless? Yes, I think they're in on him. Now, I'm not sourcing that. I'm not reporting that. But I think that is a move that in a perfect world they would make. And so, yeah, you know, does that mean they're willing to trade for him? I don't know. Is it they want to see him hit the market and then they're going to make him an offer? Maybe that's the case. But absolutely, I think the Bengals know they need to bolster their edge rush and their pass rush off the edge. And Whitney Merciless is certainly capable of doing that. So it's not like Lou Anarumo called me and told me that they were going after him, or Duke Tobin called me and told me. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying I think they know it's a weakness, and I'm saying I think they know they need to address it because that's the glaring need on this defense. If there is a hole, it is that one. All right, let's see here. This is old, but I think Chris Evans can be a star. Maybe, but define star. Like, Joe Mixon is a borderline star right now. Like, you know, he's had 2,000-yard seasons, but it's not like when people think of like the top 3 running backs in the league, they don't think of Derrick Henry or Christian McCaffrey or insert whoever you want to, right? And so, yeah, it depends on how you quantify star. Let's see here. By the way, I guess there's some friendly banter right now with Ravens fans and Bengals fans. Well, maybe you should subscribe because maybe we'll do a member-only type thing. But yeah, friendly banter is good. I'm sure there's going to be plenty in Baltimore on Sunday between the Bengals fans going, which will be there. Another reminder, another reason to subscribe to Cincinnati Bengals Talk because we're traveling, right? We're going to bring you the latest news from the stadiums. We were in Detroit. We were in Pittsburgh, and we're going to be in Baltimore on Sunday. How does Trey Flowers look out there from Devin? Look, he's practiced once. So, you know, it's tough, and it was a Friday walkthrough. So, you know, we're not to that point yet. I think he'll practice tomorrow. We'll see him. I do know he's wearing number 33, Devin. So there you go. You have that. But that's about it for now as far as Trey Flowers goes. But, yeah, I think he'll be active if I had to guess. Active Sunday against the Ravens. Who's been your favorite fans to meet at a game? Honestly, and this is not a cop-out, and it was really fun in Detroit because there was a lot of Bengals fans that made the trip, and it was awesome seeing all of you. I had multiple people mention Cincinnati Bengals Talk or Locked On Bengals or allbengals.com. Like, it's great. And next time, if you're going to Baltimore, whoever it is, I'm going to take pictures on my phone with you because I think it's so damn cool when someone's like, hey, What's up, James? And, we talk for a minute and just chop it up because it's cool. It's cool that that you're such a diehard Bengals fan to travel and watch the game. Growing up, I was a big Bengals fan. I didn't travel to games at all. So I think that's really cool. And, I know there's a lot of parents that I talk to that were with their sons or daughters. So yeah, if you see me, say hi, because I would love to meet you. Let's keep things going. A lot more Chris Evans. All right. Yep. Here's one. Hubbard seems to struggle to hold the edge. We will see. Yeah, they're going to need him to hold the edge in the run game, and that's supposed to be his specialty. So that's certainly something that they're going to have to do, and that he's going to have to do if they're going to hold up against this Ravens rushing attack. Look at this. Look at this. Get him. Who's getting after Aaron? Ravens 45, Bengals 6. I would be shocked if the Bengals score 6 on Sunday. I would be stunned. That's silly. It is. I would be surprised. Joe Burrow is too good for that. And I would also be surprised on the flip here as Preston throws out there 37-10. I would be shocked at that too. I would be shocked if it goes either way like that. Now we'll see. I'm not saying a blowout isn't possible. Blowouts happen all the time in the NFL. If a team doesn't show up, that's what's going to happen. This seems more realistic one way or the other. A 27-24 type game, something like that. But I think this is going to be funny. Hey, Andrew, I'm about to get these fans going. You ready? Who's the better kicker? Who has the better kicker? You guys can debate right now. Is it Money McPherson? Is it Justin Tucker? Debate it, because I think the game could come down to the kickers on Sunday. And, Evan McPherson's been pretty damn good this year. So we'll see. We will see. Is this one going to pop up? Did I click the right one? Nope, it flipped on me. Come on, man. Either way, someone asked me. There we go. I think I got it. There we go. Got it. It's going to flip here in a second, I believe. There we go. Hey, James, do you think Trey Waynes was a mistake to sign? Yeah, at this point. 3 years, $42 million. He's played 2 games. It's unfortunate. It's not necessarily his fault. It's not like he hasn't done enough to do his job, right? It's just sometimes injuries happen. And for whatever reason, he had the torn pec. And then he's had multiple hamstrings over the past couple of months. And that's it. That's what you get. And it's unfortunate. But hopefully he could come back and give them. That's the other thing. Is a guy like Waynes, it's realistic to, I don't want to say expect, because he has only played 2 games for the Bengals, but if he comes back and is healthy towards, week 10, week 11, something like that, it's reasonable if he's healthy to expect him to give them a boost and give that defense a shot in the arm and give them another added presence. So that's someone that they could acquire that they haven't had, even though, obviously he's been on the roster now for a while. Oh, look at the kicker debate. The kicker debate is going. This is so funny. This is so funny. Justin Tucker, Money McPherson. It's close. It is close. Some people are saying Legatron, whatever you want to call him. It doesn't matter. I'm talking about Evan McPherson. On that same note with Trey Waynes, was Trey Waynes injury prone in Minnesota? He wasn't, Jake. And that's the crazy part. Is he wasn't that good. Like I think the Bengals overpaid to get him. I do. That being said, where they were coming off of a 2-win season, you probably did have to overpay to get guys. And yeah, he just has not been able to stay healthy. He did have a good camp too, and he flashed his potential. And I was like, man, maybe the Bengals do have something here. And it just hasn't worked up to this point. This is a good one from Big Bengals fan. Is there anyone else on the roster that can return punts because our guys have struggled? I wrote this on my 5 takeaways from the game on Monday morning at allbengals.com. So you should check that out, like the website, so you can get my takes moving forward. But yeah, the best punt returner on this team, in my opinion, is on the practice squad. And his name is Trent Taylor. And, he's a 26, 27-year-old veteran, played for the 49ers for 4 years, battled a bunch of injuries. But I thought they made the right decision with Darius Phillips, but he's just been bad. He doesn't run vertical anymore. He does this side-to-side thing, and it's just like that's why he got pulled the other day in his hometown, by the way. So I'm sure he had family there. he had room to run. He could have gotten 8 to 10 yards, but he was trying to find the big crease and hit the home run. And so he has a punt return that goes for 0 yards on the Bengals' first return. And so they pulled him for Trent Irwin, who's never really done it. He's been okay. Fair caught the ball on the 5. I don't know if that's Darren Simmons saying, hey, fair catch it here so it doesn't dribble down to the 1 and put our offense in an awful position. I don't know if it was Irwin making a mistake. But I just think that at this point, Trent Taylor's the best of the 3. Now, what the Bengals have to weigh is it worth elevating him? Is it worth promoting him to the 53-man roster just to return punts when you have other guys like a Trent Irwin who you think is a better receiver to do that can do that? So that's part of it there as well. One thing I'll get to is I know some people are wondering if this game is going to get flexed. And I don't know why it hasn't been flexed. I think it would be a good one. Personally, I would rather it not be flexed because that means I'm going to be up till about 4 a.m. on Monday morning, Sunday night after the game. When the Bengals played the Jags on Thursday Night Football, I think I left Paul Brown Stadium around 3:30 in the morning and then came home and worked some more. So much so I was still working when the local news came on. I think I was watching WLWT. Anyways, it's a funny feeling doing that. Let's put it that way. When you're not working nights, it's one thing if you're working nights, but no, if it happens, I'll be excited. And I think it should, when you look at like games of the week, this is the game. I mean, the Ravens are the only team that have a better record than the Bengals right now in the AFC. So, if the Bengals beat the Ravens, top of the AFC, like that's just the standings, top of the AFC North, top of the AFC right there. And so I would not be shocked if they flexed it, but yeah, they haven't yet. And I'm not sure. I need to look up the rules on that because I think they probably would have already done it if they could. All right. We'll get to a couple more questions here. Get them in. I'm going to go rapid fire. Can Chris Evans return punts? They haven't really used him there. Wouldn't mind it though, because he's pretty damn talented. I think he could do it. Hey, James, how do you feel about John Harbaugh calling the Bengals one of the best teams in the NFL? Well, right now, he's not wrong. They are one of the best teams in the NFL, and they have a shot. Sam Hubbard or Carlos Dunlap? Prime Dunlap is way better than Sam Hubbard. Sam Hubbard's closer to Michael Johnson. I almost said Michael Jordan, but that's the guard. Pookie Williams, you mean Puka Williams, has never returned punts, and I think he's 4th on that list behind Darius Phillips, Trent Irwin, Trent Taylor, and honestly, then you're probably talking about Puka Williams. Joe Burrow can throw the football better. Yeah, he's a better thrower of the football than Lamar Jackson. He's a better thrower of the football than a lot of quarterbacks. He's a better thrower of the football than Baker Mayfield. When you talk about accuracy, he doesn't have the arm strength that Mayfield has, but Joe Burrow's a great quarterback, and he has a chance to be an elite quarterback. He has a chance to be the best quarterback in the AFC North. I don't think he's necessarily there yet. Certainly has the chance to do that. Justin Tucker holds the field goal record of 66 yards. Yeah, I know. Justin Tucker's the GOAT right now. I mean, that's just what it is. I was kind of being a little facetious a bit with that debate. A lot of Joseph Osai, he's not coming back this year, out for the year, and that's unfortunate. That's why you got to go get another edge rusher. Do you think Joe Burrow can win comeback player of the year? Yeah, he can, but he's going to have to put up. This offense is going to have to start churning and moving because Dak Prescott right now is in pole position for that. Address this at the top because this is Jocko. I addressed this. So when we finish this, make sure you hit subscribe to our channel. You're going to be able to watch the whole live stream. I played Logan Wilson's comments. I reacted to him for about 10 minutes. Talked about that, talked about the defense and more at the top of the show. And we could do, like I said, a member-only live stream one day. So make sure you hit subscribe because then you avoid what we could potentially avoid some trash talk and we can get your questions in and do it that way. Do the Bengals miss Alex Erickson yet? He was a really good return and a heck of a backup at wide receiver. Honestly, I think that Trent Taylor can give him everything that Alex Erickson did. And right now, it's one of those things where he's on the practice squad and they don't feel like he's good enough to activate him to the active roster. We'll see. Why don't we give more jump balls to T. Higgins? Yeah, I think the Bengals will certainly do that. I think they want to get the ball to T downfield more, and this might be the week to do that. Yeah, Akeem Davis-Gaither is certainly part of it. When it comes to trying to slow down Lamar Jackson. So that's part of it. Jocko says he's already subscribed. Thanks, man. Appreciate you. That was to everybody, not just you, my man, but I appreciate you subscribing. All right. Let's see here. I'm going to do one more here. Do you think the Ravens? All right. This is a good one to end on. Do you think the Ravens will underestimate the Bengals? The offense usually gets off to a slow start and becomes really explosive. By the way, I'm a big fan. John, you're the man. Appreciate you. Look, I think that there's certainly a scenario, especially coming off of the big win over the Chargers. And that was a great thing for the Bengals. If it's the other way and the Chargers beat the hell out of the Ravens, then they're not going to be, sleepwalking through anything this week. They're going to be really dialed in. And not to say that the Ravens won't be. But they have crushed the Bengals. Zach Taylor has never beaten the Ravens. And so could they overlook them a little bit? Could they look at that record and be like, oh, well, they beat the Lions and the Vikings and, oh, my goodness, the Jaguars. Yeah, the Steelers are in Big Ben's carcass. Yeah, they could. And so that's why getting off to such a quick start is important in a game like this. And not just scoring on your opening drive. Because the Bengals did not get off to a quick start against the Lions. That's not what that means. It means multiple drives where you score and you flex your muscle and you get into a rhythm. The Bengals had one decent drive, 8 plays, 61 yards for a touchdown, where there was a lot of ugliness involved in there, to say the least. There was an almost interception. There was a miss this. There was a miss that. Burrow had to run for a first down where it was kind of awkward looking. And so there was some of that. And then they didn't score and had 32 yards in their next 4 drives. They need to be consistent on offense. And if they do that early and they get points, even if it's 3 points early, and continue to stack and get a stop here, a stop there, then yeah, by the second half, when they are hitting their stride and they're going to have those explosive plays and they're going to catch the defense sleeping, well, then they're going to be in the game. You can't get down against this Ravens team with the way they run the ball, as explosive as Lamar Jackson is, the way they can honestly play keep away and just wear down your defense. You can't do that early, because if you do, when you need that stop on 3rd and 4 in the fourth quarter, you're not going to get it. And Latavius Murray is going to go for 16 yards. Or Lamar Jackson is going to pull the ball out on a read option and run it for 22 yards and slide down and flex on you. So that is a huge key, getting off to a quick start. Well, this was a lot of fun, as it always is. And so a couple things, homework assignment for all 360 of you watching right now. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. Ring the bell so you can get alerts next time we go live. Be at Paul Brown Stadium tomorrow, which is Wednesday. Paul Brown Stadium Thursday. Going to be in Baltimore after that. So we are going to have you covered, all things Ravens, Bengals. You don't have to be a Bengals fan to hit subscribe. You want to subscribe this week to keep tabs on the Bengals and what's going on. I get it, Baltimore fans. This is the right place to do it. You've come to the right place. So as always, these live streams are fun for our producer and video editor, Andrew Miller. I'm James Rapien. As always, thank you so much for watching right here on